and welcome to A Window to Bourne. My name's Mavis Robinson, and I'm your host, and Captain, my co-host, is napping, but he'll join us shortly. And joining me in the studio today is one of the Historical Society's newest volunteers, Halie Grobleski. Halie, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's really nice to see you, and it's really nice to have you on the team at the Historical Society.
Thank you.
And you know, before we talk about what you're doing for our group, let's talk a little bit about you know, the woman behind the Facebook page. Let's talk about your background. So
Okay.
Where do you come from?
Well, I come from Plymouth, Bourne area. I was born in Plymouth, but I was raised in Bourne, and then also in Plymouth, South Plymouth. So it's really this whole area.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to school in Bourne and then in Plymouth. So I was really kind of raised right in this area. I work over the bridge at Barlow's Clam Shack, so I'm always right in the thick of it.
And the name Grobleski, it's a very unique name.
Yes.
And it's a name sort of well known and well loved in our town. And I feel like I went to a homecoming dance with a Steve Grobleski at one point.
That's my dad.
That's your dad. Oh, all right. So your dad's Steve Grobleski, and who's your mom?
My mom is Cherie Daly, or Cherie Barlow Daly.
All right, all right.
Barlow's also, I think, a well-known name in the town.
I think so. Yeah. Between the Grobleskis and the Barlows, I mean, you have you're related to maybe
lots of people.
40%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, what was it like growing up as part of that big clan? Did you have a sense of so many people that you were related to?
Yes, definitely. You feel like you're related to every third person.
Yep.
And then the other two out of the three that you're not related to, they know you from someone else in the family. Oh, my dad, my uncle, this cousin, that other uncle.
Yeah.
Everyone knows someone in my family, even if they don't know me, or even if they don't know my mom or dad. Oh, I know your Uncle Chip, maybe, or your Uncle Tommy.
Right.
Everyone is known. So it's very interesting to
Yeah.
be known, and then sometimes I get recognized, or I'll be with my mom, and it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at you, I realize you do look a lot like your dad, which I don't know until we were sitting across from each other. I noticed that, and you remind me in some ways of your paternal grandmother. Did you know her at all?
I did. Yeah, we were very close.
Her name was Mita.
Yes.
Yep.
She helped raise me. She passed away when I was 7, and I was devastated.
Yeah.
But it was good when I knew her.
Yeah.
And we still kind of keep her alive through memories and stories and pictures.
Yeah.
So even though she's gone, she's still very much present in my family.
Yeah.
And she's actually buried over at Otis, so I can kind of go visit her anytime I want.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. It does. Yeah. She's a person that I think impacted a lot of people in a really quiet way. She wasn't brash. Do you have any memories of her? Specific memories?
I have a couple memories in the garden at her and my grandpa's house in the backyard. When I was younger, they had a huge garden. I'm talking like 40 by 40 square. It was giant.
Yeah.
And we would help her plant stuff in the spring and early summer. I don't know exactly when it was. And then, in the autumn, we would help dig it up and harvest everything. And it was so cool when I was little.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people don't do that anymore. And, it's just nice, especially when you're a kid and you just want to be outside and you're digging and you're doing this and that. And it was really interesting because she kind of taught us, when to plant and how to plant, and then also when to harvest everything. And, if you could pick a tomato, if it looks this color, if it doesn't, if it's hanging this way, she gave us all this wisdom, and it's just kind of neat because when you're little, you don't realize how much she's actually teaching you.
Right.
But it was so much fun, and I have one specific memory of digging up potatoes.
Oh, cool.
We had to use this I don't know if it was a pitchfork or whatever it was, you know, I don't know the tool, but we had to use it and dig them up and then shake all the dirt off, and it was just so much fun because, like I said, I was little, and you love playing in the dirt when you're little. So it was just so cool, and you know, finding these potatoes.
It must have felt like almost like finding buried treasure, right? Like it looks like a leafy
but it was
plant,
a potato,
and then there's food underground. Oh,
so
cool.
It was cool. It was awesome, and then we would you know, we'd get the zucchini out of the garden and then make fresh zucchini bread.
Wow.
And to this day, I still love that. And whenever I find someone that can make it, I'm like, oh, hey, you want to make it for me?
You have helped us out in the office quite a bit, and Captain's always happy to see you. How did you get involved with the Bourne Historical Society, of all places?
Well, my grandparents, my Nana and Papa, Diane Flynn and Skip Barlow, are part of the Historic Society.
Yes, very important part.
Yeah, Diane is the president right now, I believe.
Yep.
So I got involved actually probably about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I started volunteering at the different events, like the Christmas train. I was an elf for quite a few years.
Yep.
And then the Pirate Festival, I started, you know, dressing up as pirates and being a volunteer there.
I think that's probably where I first met you.
Yes.
Yeah, but the Barlow, you know, grandchildren are so
There's
numerous.
So many of
I can
us.
lose track of who I meet, you know. So
but
I do remember you made a great pirate, and it was nice to have that, you know, young energy.
I do that every year still.
Yep.
So that's always fun. And it's always nice, you know. It's in May. It's a nice day. So I started doing that kind of stuff, just to volunteer at different events. And then I graduated college last year with a marketing degree. And my Nana said, oh, you know, we need some marketing help down at the Historic Society. You know, could you come in and help us out? So I said, of course.
So. And it's been a really perfect fit. It's really nice. So how did you end up choosing marketing? Let's talk about how you got yourself to school and how you made those choices.
That's an interesting story because I went to high school in Plymouth, and I started my freshman year doing childcare.
Okay.
Which is, you know, an odd choice now that I'm doing marketing, but I did childcare because I had been babysitting for years.
Yep.
I have, you know, a couple younger siblings.
And they are different.
They are different.
One's a girl, one's a boy.
I have a million younger cousins, and I was always babysitting. So I went to high school and I was like, oh, you know, childcare, cool. I could be a childcare teacher, whatever. I did it my freshman year and I hated it.
Okay.
It was terrible. It was awful. Not for me. Definitely for other people, not for me. But we have the tech program over there, so you can have a choice to do a different tech, or you can do nothing at all. It's completely up to you.
So this is in high school. You're actually choosing sort of a major, or
kind of. You don't, like I said, you don't have to, but they really encourage it.
Yep.
So, you know, they give out a booklet where you can read through, but you can also walk around. The teachers are really nice. You know, they stay after. So one day after school, I stayed after a little bit and I went in to talk to the marketing department. And I said, oh, you know, I'm in childcare, but I'm kind of interested in this, but I don't really know what it is. And the teacher there, she said to me, oh, you know, it's about business and marketing, and it's, you know, I forget, she worded it somehow that just sold me on it. I forget exactly how she said it now. She's a marketing
person, so she knew how to...
Exactly. But she said something about, you know, it's the knowledge about how to sell people things, something along those lines. And I said, wow, that's really interesting. Can I enroll? I know I missed freshman year, but can I enroll sophomore year? And she said, oh, well, actually, freshman year is really exploratory. So what I didn't know in childcare is all the other techs, I think there's 11 or 12 other ones, they do what's called an exploratory program where you go to each tech for like 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So they really...
So you would have had a little piece of
each one.
Marketing of
Yep. And then at the end, you get to pick.
Okay.
After having a little piece of each one, you get to pick.
Yep.
But they don't do it in childcare because they have all the little kids coming in. They actually have a full-time daycare.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
wow.
They have a legitimate daycare.
Yeah.
So they don't have all of the students filtering in and out because that would confuse the kids and, you know, it could be dangerous or, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So childcare doesn't do that, but every other tech does. So she said, you didn't miss anything. Freshman year here is really just to explore. And I said, perfect.
Yeah.
So sophomore year, I jumped right in, and I was on the same page with everyone else because they hadn't really learned anything freshman year.
Yeah.
So I jumped right in. I loved it. I did marketing all through high school. I did DECA competitions.
What's DECA?
It's a marketing competition program where you do different projects through school, and it's a hands-on project, and then you take it to competition and you compete against other people. So I got to do that in high school, and then when I got to college, I said, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
So I actually went to Cape Cod Community College first, and then I transferred to Bryant University in Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island, yeah.
And that's where I graduated and got my bachelor's.
Oh, great. That's a really smart way to do it. Did you deliberately choose it for?
Yes.
Okay.
All of my friends went to quote unquote regular colleges.
Yeah.
And all of my friends paid a lot more money than me, and I learned the same because the first 2 years of college, same basic stuff.
Right.
So if you go to Cape Cod to get those first 2 years of basic math, basic English, all that stuff out of the way, and then transfer, so much better.
Yeah.
And if you keep your grades up, you can get a lot of scholarships through Cape Cod and a lot of different transfer opportunities and options.
Yeah.
And it just worked out a lot better for me. I have way less student debt than all of my friends.
Right, right. Did you miss out on anything by doing those 2 years elsewhere? Or
I guess I missed out on the dorm life. But I got to go and visit my friends.
Okay.
So because I went to Cape Cod and all my friends, or not all my friends, but some of my friends went to the regular schools and did the regular dorm life, I could go up on weekends and visit them.
Yeah.
I'd hang out, visit. So I got that experience.
You got the flavor of it.
Yeah, and that was enough for me because it was
Right.
It was not for me,
to
be honest.
Yeah.
It's for a lot of people, but it wasn't for me.
Right.
So I did get the flavor, and I did, see how they lived, but a lot of it, when I was there visiting my friends, this is going to sound so dumb, but when I would visit my friends, I would say, wow, your room is so small. Because they had to share with one person,
right.
2 people, sometimes it'd be 4 people in this little tiny room.
Yeah.
And it's their bed, it's their desk, it's where their dresser is.
Right.
Everything
all your
is
clothes.
crammed in this little tiny room. And I said, wow. And that's part of the reason when I transferred schools, I was hesitant about living in the dorms.
Yeah.
But I did try it when I transferred to Bryant. I lived in a dorm for a little bit, and I just said, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm used to living in a regular house with, the bedroom here,
right.
the kitchen here.
Yeah.
The laundry isn't down 3 flights of stairs.
Right.
So
what did you end up doing? Did you move back home? Did you
I moved back home and I commuted from Plymouth to Bryant.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people say is a long commute, but I didn't mind it. And I was thinking once I graduate and get a career, I was looking at a lot of jobs in Boston, I'm going to have to commute anyway. So if I get used to the commute now, by that time it'll kind of be an old hat.
Yeah. Well, and that must have been a money savings as well. I mean, not have to pay for
Yeah, it was, I think it was $5,000 a semester for living in the dorm. And that I don't think that included the meal plan.
Right.
So that was $5,000 just to live in this little tiny room that I didn't even like anyway.
With a stranger,
Yeah, with a stranger.
Yeah.
It was someone I didn't know. And of course, when I transferred in, the room I transferred into, they were all friends and I was the one outsider.
Right.
So it was actually kind of awkward because the only reason I got put in there is because they had the one opening, but they were all close-knit friends already because I transferred in. So it was my junior year. So they were juniors and sophomores. So they already had a couple years of friendship and bonding and whatever.
Right.
With, with them, behind them. And to be honest, they, they weren't really receptive to having me there. I think they wanted, the extra space and the extra room.
Oh, right.
And I was kind of
By you being there, like when you left, they got to use it as your bed as like their couch or whatever. Like
or like have their friends stay over or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I was definitely an intruder in their eyes.
Yeah.
So
that's a tough situation.
It was awkward.
Yep.
But like I said, dorm life isn't for me, clearly.
Right. Well, and I want to track back to something you said about, getting used to knowing that once you graduate, you're going to have to be commuting to Boston, and is that just that's accepted that that's what work life is all about? I mean, do you think about trying to get into work on the Cape? Is there not enough opportunity?
From my perspective, there wasn't enough opportunity.
Okay.
Because just looking for jobs and just hearing about the Cape, and it's a well-known fact that obviously a lot of people live on the Cape during the summer, but a lot of them leave during the winter. So I feel like trying to find a full-time job that, in the marketing field, because marketing is kind of awkward, because I've gone to a couple job fairs on the Cape. In Hyannis, it's, I don't know, the Chamber of Commerce down there, or whoever runs them, and a lot of the businesses aren't looking for marketing help. They're looking for retail, they're looking for managers, they're looking for like senior living assistants or whatever would have you, but they're not looking for marketing. So I just didn't really see any potential down there.
Do you think that it's because they're not doing marketing, or they're not valuing that role? Do you have any sense for why you think those jobs aren't there?
I think it is partially that.
Okay.
Because there seem to be a lot of businesses when I go to these job fairs, and no one's looking for anything in marketing, and I would say marketing, I wouldn't even say what aspect, like a marketing assistant, marketing director, advertising. I wouldn't specify any of that. I would just say, oh, do you have any marketing opportunities? And they'd say, oh, no.
Right.
And I said, okay. And that did get me into thinking, do they not have marketing teams? Do they not value it? Are they not using it?
Right.
So I think it's a lot of they don't value it or they don't use it.
Yep.
Maybe they have one person doing all the marketing, but...
And it's sort of added on to somebody else's job instead of being a focus. Yeah.
So I didn't see the opportunity down the Cape, so I didn't even consider it.
So now, when did you graduate from college?
A year ago.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Oh, so you're fresh out of school.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you worked in your field at all, like internships or?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I've been doing work for the Bourne Historical Society.
Right. Yep.
I do some work for Barlow's Clam Shack. And then I actually worked at E54 Family Theme Park over in Carver. I worked there for 2 years when I was in school.
Yep. Did you do summers or all year?
Oh, no, full year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, year round.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year and a half, 2 years.
That must have been a good experience.
Yes, that was interesting.
Yeah. Anything you care to share? Or
it was fun, and I learned a lot. And then I also learned that I did not want to work there after I graduated.
Okay.
So I did learn, what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do,
what
I wanted from a job.
Yep.
Different things. So it was a good learning experience.
Yeah. Thinking about the concept of people thinking, or businesses thinking like, oh, we don't really need a marketing person. That's something that so and so can just do. She writes the press releases, or he can go to this. I mean, what does a dedicated marketing person add to an organization that somebody might be surprised by?
I think it adds a lot of life, and it can bring in a lot more people that the organization might not realize. So I think it can really, that person, having a dedicated role can really, really showcase the business in a way that someone without the marketing background cannot do, just because they don't really know how. So I just think, how do I want to say this? I think it's really beneficial, but people don't understand the benefit of marketing people.
Right. Well, I know for me, you've been, I'm learning so much from you, which is kind of humbling because I am a couple years older than you. And, you know, when you get to be my age, you like to think you know it all. So to have a young person come and, you know, and open my eyes, I mean, and you're so nice about it. It's been a nice experience. But, you know, just the way you strategically look at the calendar at the Bourne Historical Society and, you know, knowing, you know, like we tend to be very reactive. And, you know, you're looking at it much more proactive, you know, like knowing that, oh, hey, you know, a week before this event, you're going to want to have these photos all lined up and ready to publish to Facebook or Instagram and, you know, and just kind of, and it feels a little bit like common sense, but it's not what we were doing before.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. So that's what a marketing person can bring to the organization is that knowledge that people are like, oh, right.
Yeah.
But people didn't think of it. So
the changes that you've made, it's not like you're bringing something that is, you know, like outrageous or like an, you know, an idea that's like, what? That's not going to work. You're just bringing these like really simple, elegant ways of doing things that suddenly feel like, oh, of course we should do it that way. And but because of that, I wonder if some people just think like, oh, well, we already know all that. You know, we don't need somebody to tell us.
Exactly. I think that's it. And I think that's part of the problem with these businesses not wanting or not, quote unquote, needing a marketing person. I think they think it's all easy and they have it figured out. But you could say something as simple as like, oh, do you have a website?
Right.
And they say, I don't need a website.
Right.
And I say, oh, okay, well, you know, if someone's looking for your, you know, goods or services and they hear about you from a friend and they look you up on Google and you don't have a website, it's a little, in this day and age, it's a little bit weird that you wouldn't have something as simple as a website.
Right.
And that's something a marketing person could help you out with.
Right.
And even if they can't build the website, they can refer you, they can help you with all the different aspects of it.
Right.
You know, so it's something as simple as that again seems common sense, but they didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I wonder if there's another word that people think about, you know, it used to be back in the day, everybody would have their listing in the yellow pages. And, you know, of course you're going to be in the yellow pages. And it's like, well, you know, if you would have been in the yellow pages 30 years ago, you should have a website now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like that.
Yep.
And now if you have a listing in the yellow pages and not a website, then...
Right. Yeah, because the first thing that really anybody's going to do is
they go on Google.
They're going to Google you.
They don't fish out their yellow pages and open it and
right.
You know, flip to you know, I need a house painter.
Yep.
People don't do that.
Yep. Although I have to say, some people still do.
Really?
And one of the challenges I think in our organization, and you know probably other organizations experience this, is to bridge the generations, because we do still have people who
open the yellow pages.
Open the yellow pages, you know, and everybody else, it goes immediately into recycling, you know, and or you know, folks don't even have a home phone, you know, only a cell phone, so you're not even getting yellow pages.
I was gonna say I don't have a home phone.
Right. Well, neither do I. But you know, but lots of people do, and so figuring out how to reach both audiences,
both markets,
and you know, and maybe not every business is you know targeted at all markets, but but I think most, you know, especially on the Cape, if you want to stay in business, you have to.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something to consider, and that's another aspect of why I'm so baffled that the businesses on Cape don't have or don't need marketing help, because they do have all these different markets, and especially I think the people that stay there during the winter are more the people you're talking about, who might refer back to the yellow pages, where the influx of all the people during the summer, I think those are a little bit more technologically advanced. They might use Google, or maybe they'll use the yellow pages to look you up and then look at reviews on Google.
Exactly.
They might use both.
Yes.
So I think that the businesses on Cape definitely need to consider, you know, all of that when thinking about whether or not they need marketing help.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I'm just thinking, you might, a small business owner might think like, well, marketing, you know, I'm not Coca-Cola, you know, I'm not, you know, putting a, you know, TV ad or something, and it might just sort of seem like, oh, that's just something that big businesses do, and, you know.
But that's the thing, you don't have to be Coca-Cola.
Right.
You know, you don't have to make a TV ad, and if you're a small business, it can actually really help. Because if you're a small business, people don't really know you. So if you do a little bit of marketing, that can start to get the word out. People can start to understand and recognize your business.
Yep.
So it's not I think a lot of people do think that way, but it's not just for big businesses.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
you know, as a recent college graduate, you sort of have your sights set for if you have to pursue a career, that means driving to Boston. You know, if there were more job opportunities on the Cape, would you, or, you know, Cape, Plymouth, South Shore area,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
would your preference be to be working locally, or is working in Boston part of what you would want to do just for development anyway?
I think I would consider opportunities closer to home. So the Cape, Plymouth, South Shore, that area, if they were to present themselves and be, you know, good opportunities, what I deemed good opportunities.
Yeah.
So I would definitely stay close to home, you know, if the opportunity were to present itself. But I also do want that, you know, big business corporation. I do want some of that experience. So I do see myself going into Boston at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
But to be honest, I'd work, you know, anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, one nice thing about the nature of your work is that you don't necessarily have to be tied to a desk at a particular time. I mean, it's intellectual work, you're doing copywriting, you're, you know, posting things online. That doesn't necessarily matter when you post it because you can schedule it.
Yeah.
So it is a handy thing. I mean, you know, your work with us, you know, you're in the background writing things and making things happen for us, but, you know, you could, you know, add another person that you're doing that to, you know, sort of like, I guess I'm one of those people that a year ago, if somebody had said, hey, should we hire a marketing person? I might have thought like, oh no, you know, we can't afford that. That's too big, that's too much. But, you know, hey, Haley's available for a couple hours a week to do some press releases. Yeah, sign her up, you know? So it's almost like just breaking down the concept of what that might mean.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, you know, what do you like about living around here? What do you like about this area?
Well, I love summertime and the beaches and the ice cream shops and obviously the seafood, and I love everything that makes it really Cape Cod.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the very basic stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we talk about. I feel like your generation. Are you a millennial? Is that do we know what your generation is called?
Yeah, I'm a millennial.
Okay, okay. You know, and I feel like there's a lot of you know, talk about like, oh, millennials these days, and they're not. You know, they're spending all their
Applebee's.
Killing Applebee's. They're spending all their money on avocado toast. They're, you know, there's all
Have
these.
you had avocado toast?
It's amazing.
It's so worth it.
I know. I just had it yesterday for dinner, actually.
Exactly.
So good. But yeah, you don't have a mortgage because you know
because I don't want to buy a house because I have that looming student debt.
Right. Yeah. So
people forget that.
So I'd love to hear straight from a millennial. What are the challenges that, you know, you're faced as a 25-year-old, 24-year-old?
24.
You know.
Well, the challenges definitely are right out of college. You have your degree and you're all excited, you're ready to hit the road running, you know, get this new job, but right away you're hit with the challenge because right now more people are graduating from college than ever before. So before you used to be able to get a bachelor's, you know, find a job right away, you know, start getting settled, this, that, whatever, but almost, you know, as immediately as you're walking across that stage, you're already hitting a brick wall because there's already so many other people graduating at the same time as you.
Yep.
So that's a little bit difficult because there's so many people looking for jobs all at the same time, you know, so that's hard. And then the student debt obviously is a huge factor into people deciding even what jobs to choose.
Right.
So even if you find your perfect dream job, you know, this is awesome, this is what I'd love to do, I'm looking, it has great benefits, but they don't pay you that much.
Right.
So you kind of have to factor in, you know, can you afford to take this job? Because you have X amount of student debt, you probably have a car loan, you know, you're living somewhere, you have to eat.
Right.
You know, that avocado toast.
I know, that doesn't come cheap, right? Well, Haley, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed talking to you. And,
thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for everything that you're doing for the Bourne Historical Society. We really couldn't do it without you.
Oh, thanks. And you're welcome.
And thanks for joining us today on A Window to Bourne. We'll see you next time.